Good morning to you, Times Radio Breakfast. Thank you for joining us. It is now 9:21. Michael Fabricant is the Conservative MP for Lichfield and has often spoken in support of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson has now been judged, of course, by this committee to have deliberately misled Parliament. So was this the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
But I repeat, Mr. Speaker, that I have been repeatedly assured since these allegations emerged that there was no party and that no COVID rules were broken, and that is what I have been repeatedly assured.
Michael Fabricant is with us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Stig.
It's a very punchy report. We knew that it was going to be punchy because of how Boris Johnson, of course, reacted, and I think that reaction has seemed to have made it even stronger in its criticisms. Do you think that Boris Johnson should hang his head in shame this morning?
Well, I think this is something that he's got to reflect on. I haven't actually read the report. I've just seen the odd tweet from reporters who sort of picked on the highlights, so I will need to read the report. My own concern is that people talk about not impugning the integrity of the committee as if they were a college of cardinals. I mean, I attended the investigation when they were interviewing Boris Johnson, and I was very disappointed to see that the committee, which, after all, was sitting in a quasi-judicial role, was in fact behaving in a way, some of them anyway, a number of the committee behaved with complete dignity, but a number of them, however, would have been told off if it were a court of law by the judge. They were pulling faces, they were looking skywards, they were nodding with disagreement. This is not the way to conduct a formal inquiry.
So does that diminish the validity of the report in your view?
Well, justice has to be seen to be done, and on that occasion, at least, it wasn't seen to be done. Now, having said all that, I haven't read the report yet. I haven't actually seen the report. I've got to collect it. So until I actually read it, I'm not going to make a judgment on the report.
Are you open-minded? Are you open-minded?
Sorry, Stig, if I could just correct you, by the way, the longest term that anyone would have been banned from Parliament was actually John Bercow. For his bullying, and the report said, and I certainly agreed with them on that occasion, that he would be banned for life if he had still been sitting as an MP. Just wanted to get that little record straight.
The question of how this committee has been constituted is an interesting one, because it was the majority of Parliament agreed with it. It had a majority Conservative membership. It's going to be voted on openly in Parliament. So whether or not this is a quasi-judicial process, this is a parliamentary process of impeccable credentials. Would you accept that, do you think?
Well, I don't know about the impeccable credentials. I'll say we're going back to the do not impugn the committee, they are above holy. And that isn't actually the case. I mean, they were appointed, by the way, quite legitimately, long before the Boris inquiry began. The Privileges Committee sits on other things too. And generally speaking, I agree with most of their findings. Whether I agree with these findings, as I say, really depends on the content of the report, and I haven't seen it yet.
But are you going to do you have an open mind, Michael Fabricant, that if you read the report, you could conclude at the end of it yourself that Boris Johnson is a liar?
I have an open mind on everything. My own view at the moment, not having seen the report, is that I believe that he did not willingly intend to mislead Parliament, that he actually had been advised that he had been behaving within the rules. But we shall see. And of course, don't forget, yesterday we find that one of the members of the committee, it's been alleged by the Guido Fawkes website, was also behaving in the way which the committee has condemned, i.e. involved in a party during lockdown. So, this idea, do not impugn the integrity of this committee, is really a bit risible.
Before you go, Michael Fabricant, does this tarnish the honour that you did get from Boris Johnson as he left? He offered you an honour. Does that impugn that process at all?
Well, look, I would say this. I've been a Member of Parliament for Lichfield for 31 years. I've been on the front bench for about 7 or 8 years. I helped save the National Memorial Arboretum from insolvency because of a tax issue. I moved HS2 from a suburb of...
So you deserve it. You deserve to be knighted.
Well, you might say that. I couldn't possibly.
Michael Fabricant, thank you very much indeed. Conservative MP for Lichfield.